Since we finished the Akenya era along with Marth and Alm's adventures, we move on to Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. I'm so excited for this one. It's one of the most hyped up Fire Emblem games of all. What the hell is that? What? Right. The remake. Aren't remakes fun? I love playing the same game again, just a little bit better. By virtue of it basically being a next-gen version of Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, I should just put it right above him, but I'm not. We barely just left Akenya and somehow we're already back doing it all again. Sure, it plays better. I'd rather just play something else. I get it. Marth gets sword, saves dragon, kills rock, Starlight go woo! But I already did this 2 games ago. So out of spite, I'm putting this below Shadow Dragon Blade of Light. Moving on to an actual game, I'll be back in 5 months. Hold on. There's a new story? This isn't a remake, it's a sequel? Shit. Despite my distaste of having to play a remake in any capacity, I'll admit, Mystery of the Emblem one-upped me. It's not just a remake, it's a sequel. A continuation of the events of Fire Emblem 1. The story is split into 2 books, War of Darkness and War of Heroes. This is the remake portion of the game. It is, roughly speaking, the exact same as it was in Blade of Light, with small changes here and there. Recommend going through this campaign first to get acquainted with the newer system so that you're not lost on any context regarding the next campaign event. All the quality of life changes are breathtaking. Seriously, everything feels like it's on ×2 speed. Granted, I only feel this way since I had to crawl through the previous 2 titles. Combat backgrounds, dodge animations, characters don't walk back to their spot after missing a vital swing. Minerva. Weapon and item icons are more fleshed out, weapons have their own sprites, most of them. Crude differences, but differences nonetheless. Most importantly, everyone has a unique sprite. The Gordon Brigade has finally been cured. Instead of exceptionally boring, they're just normal boring. All the battle animations have gotten so much more flair. Cavalry and flyers wind up their javelins before throwing them. Some dodges lead into separate retaliate animations. Crit animations. My god, the crit animations. All the fighters just aura-firing with every swing. In terms of gameplay, things have been tweaked almost entirely for the better. The storage system is gone. Thank God. Now Marth acts as a supply line for the whole game. You can deposit and withdraw anything straight from him. At the start of a battle, you can now outfit your troops with items. So many turns from the end of the battle and the start of a battle have been saved. This also saves a lot of time in between battles, especially since you'll need it for mounted units. Character inventories have been changed too. Traditionally, you split space for items and weapons between 5 slots. Not here. Every unit has 2 spaces, one for weapons and one for items. You can essentially have 10 items on every unit at all times. This is only ever a problem for mages or priests, since staffs are grouped into items. It's always safer to hold a vulnerary as well. But, you know, holding a physics staff can also just be better for the whole team. Most units get some points in resistance when promoting. Mamukeets have less Dragonstone uses, but their effects have been entirely changed. Instead of activating in battle, you activate outside of battle, giving the Mamuket between 4 to 5 turns to thrash any unit it crosses. Magic accuracy has been changed. Almost all spells consistently hit over 70 to 80%. Knights can promote to generals while hunters can become mounted archers. Almost every problem you could have with the original Shadow Dragon and Blade of Light has been corrected or changed. However, for everything that's been changed for the better, there have been some changes for the worse, as well as some things that have been removed entirely. About 5 missions have been cut entirely. Honestly, I don't mind. A lot of the first game missions felt like padding. Alongside this, some units have been cut out too. Not that I'm ripping out hair since I can't play Roger or anything. For the most part, it's just taking out repetitive units so that you can focus on the rest of your squadron. Ballisticians are gone, replaced by catapults. So far, pretty reasonable changes. And then the change that I hate the most. Your weight command is now on the top of the list instead of on the bottom of it. This change confuses, baffles me, as well as annoys me. Since you're going to trip up and hit weight instead of any command you were going to use and lose that unit's turn, This is especially bad for healers. This happens a lot, and it pisses me off each time. This is one change I'm glad got reverted really fast. I really hope Genealogy doesn't have this. Regarding the War of Heroes, however, this is the new portion of the game. Until now, perhaps the best overall campaign I've played. The story is roughly a couple years after the original. Most of our cast members are off in different nations, some key members even leading nations. Hardin, the paladin you assisted rather early into the first story, is now Emperor of Gra. However, for reasons unknown, he started making advances on other nations. His general commands Marth to quell a rebellion taking place in the Kingdom of Grust, being led by Lawrence? Lawrence, your ally, the person who assisted and fought alongside you in the first campaign, is the first boss and enemy in the second campaign. To my shock, the story opens perfectly. General Lang commands Marth to kill the enemy with impunity, all while threatening Marth to cooperate, otherwise his kingdom will suffer. You can visit the townsfolk and they will tell you that Lawrence did nothing wrong, how he's a beloved leader and how Lang is scheming something sinister. Once Marth talks with all the townsfolk, you can negotiate with Lawrence? He takes his own life. What just happened? Mystery of the Emblem gives you choices. You could just as easily have ignored all of this and charged at Lawrence and his broken spear, and the outcome doesn't reasonably change. But this small addition just makes me happy. Like, Marth should have more reservation for cutting down all his opponents, especially former allies. It doesn't even stop here. You will run into more of your allies caught in conflicting positions, and for some of them the outcome isn't as simple as use Marth to talk to them. George is charged in defending the castle so that Hardin and his army can rush down Marth. He may dislike this, but he does it all the same. Unless Gordon talks to him. After the War of Darkness, George trained Gordon to become the next greatest archer, and in this moment he relents, unwilling to kill his own pupil. The best version of this we will return to later, but for now, after Lawrence's passing, General Lang sweeps in to kidnap the children Lawrence was protecting. We are sent to Medon to save Minerva from General Ruke, who effortlessly took back the kingdom from her hands, likely because she kept missing her javelin throws. After he's handled, Lang calls upon Marth to do more of his dirty work. It's hard for me to express why I love this moment so much. Maybe it's just that the War of Heroes does a really good job at building the mystery part of the game's title. Why is Lang collecting young mages? Why are coups happening in the kingdom our allies control? What happened to Hardin? I remember him being a relatively noble knight, allying with Marth to help Princess Ninya. Why is he doing these things? I spent a good long portion of the game actually invested in the events. The payoff is underwhelming, but I'm not letting that distract me from how well the game keeps its mystery going. I'm not gonna drag on. For a brief, we rescue the children, kill Lang, get chased by Hardin, rescue Astrum, reassemble the orbs, and prepare to invade Gra and vanquish Hardin. This leads to my favorite mission in the game. General Sheena, the current ruler, is left in charge of defending a losing battle by Hardin's orders. Morale has completely sunken through the floor. Most troops won't even fight. They either run away or stay passive, even while being attacked. Regardless of how you do this battle, it's a massacre. One that could have been completely averted with a single dialogue. Except this is among the very few missions that can be beaten without killing a single person. If Marth speaks with Sheena without having killed a single one of her special troops, she surrenders unconditionally and allies with Marth. Marth can then take the throne without having killed a single person in this battle. This isn't the first battle which can be ended this way. Earlier against Rumel, you could potentially tank his attack and run past him into the castle. Similarly, against Arlen and George, you can persuade them to join you before the battle ends. However, each of these is evasive. We aren't being passive to spare, but more so to avoid. Against Sheena and her unwilling army, you can walk through them all the way to Sheena and end the battle peacefully. It's a rare and beautiful thing, and in a series about strategically vanquishing your enemies, you can still choose to spare your opponents. It's not perfectly peaceful, of course. The intended method is to skip all the low-level units while all the others are fair game. And most missions still involve killing at least one important enemy. But come on, it's still a step. And I'm not suggesting that Fire Emblem has to incorporate pacifist methods to be interesting for me. I just like having more options on how to end levels. Being able to RP is a bonus. Sadly, finding out the mystery of the emblem, it's like a 50-50 split between good and bad. The bad is what I've come to expect, but was disappointed to see. Hardin was manipulated by Medius and Garnef's spirit into becoming a conquering madman. They add a bit more to this. Hardin was to marry Princess Nina, however, she still loved the late Camus. Their marriage was instead of a union, a purely political move. This led to Hardin's despair. He would sulk in his quarters, boiling in his own depression. This leaves him exposed to Medius' control. It's fine. I do like making Hardin partially sympathetic, but him essentially still being a possessed king makes the reveal much weaker. In Sacred Stones, we will fully explore this in the future. We will see a much better realized possessed villain. But that's a story for later. As for the other 50%, Marth finally matters. After defeating Hardin, Marth acquires the last of the sacred orbs, and they react to the Fire Emblem. The Fire Emblem is a shield with 5 grooves. Each groove fits one of the orbs. When they all unite, they create the Binding Shield, a tool for banishing dragons. The other half of Marth's involvement I will go into for his character section. After Hardin's death, all the kidnapped priestesses come out to congratulate Marth. His sister, Nina, all the other ones. What a bow tie ending. Oh. True ending territory has been reached. The Binding Shield removes the illusion. Now we hunt down Medius and rescue our allies. The final missions are a rush to defeat the spirits that orchestrated the whole war, Garnef and Medius. Garnef continues to be useless, getting ruined by Starlight. Medius... Oh my god. They did it. The Shadow Dragon. It's real. Medius is a good final boss. Not too challenging, not too easy. The real trick is to remove the priestesses surrounding him. For each, one of your allies can pull them out of the trance. This is based on some dialogue and characteristics you will have seen from them by now. Every turn, the Earth Dragons will attack, but the Binding Shield will banish them at the start of your turn. Once all 4 priestesses have been cleared, Marth can melt Medius down and finish the story. Medius is gone. Sure, he will technically never die, long as hate remains, whatever, usual force of nature waffling. With the end of the wars, the next age of Akenyan rebuilding will happen. Who knows what the future of this nation has in store. While I didn't have the same surprise that Gaiden's twist carried, this was a far better story overall. Currently the best of the 3. Despair seems to be a running theme in most Fire Emblem games. From units to NPCs to villains, to even gods. A lot of these people or beings are broken from their respective wars and lives. Most of the bosses in Fire Emblem also don't carry special resentment for their opponents. They are life for their kingdom and emperor. While this means the individual boss doesn't stand out much, it shows what Hardin was to the nation of Gra. Characters like Roshia and Nina show this best. Roshia's loyalty gained from years of service and Nina's sympathy and guilt for abandoning him when he needed her the most. It's a little hard to parse what is Hardin's true feelings given what he tells you in this moment of clarity. It contradicts a lot of what Nina tells you. Is this Hardin lying to himself in his final moments? Is Nina bending the truth? Or is everything he felt aside from his despair over Nina just Medius' control? It's really up to the player's imagination. I appreciate even having the room to speculate at all. I've been rather reductive of the previous Fire Emblem cast members, mainly since they lack any purpose outside of holding a weapon for you to swing with. However, this time, some of them have motivations. It counts for something, I suppose. We still have a lot of flat nothing characters, Merc spouting the same, "I need money, so I turn to murder. Forgive me." However, every now and then, I get pleasantly surprised with some character development happening along the way, giving me more appreciation for the unit and making me want to battle along with them. Get off my screen, Minerva! Here's some that I used for both campaigns. Ogma. Ogma? Ogma. Ogma. I'm convinced half of my enjoyment in this game came just from getting to use Ogma. Ogma is a beast of a fighter, one of the strongest units who can just about fight any unit without much worry, a practical solution for all kinds of problems. During the War of Heroes, Ogma is tasked by Lawrence to protect the children. His only mission left being to keep Yulia and Eubelos safe, as well as ensure General Lang dies. Easily one of my favorite units in the series, right up there with his alternate form. Kain. I didn't use Kain properly in the first game, so here's my chance to finally do him some justice. Nope, never mind. Oh well. He doesn't die, I suppose. In War of Heroes, it's confirmed he lived and served as one of the Altian Paladins under Marth, alongside Abel. Abel was such a beast in the first game. I can't wait for him to active. Nope, I guess not. God damn it. Once again, not really dead, I suppose. He also became a great general. However, during the second era of Gra occupation, he was forced to fight Marth's forces, otherwise Est would have been executed. I like this unspoken relationship they have. Hopefully in Shadow Dragon or New Mystery of the Emblem, they allow you to make it a real one. Wait a minute, you're not Gordon. Who's this? Where's my boy Gordon? What did they do to you, Gordon? Gordon has been shrunk? Man, that OG artwork was really deceptive. This does not look like a 12-year-old. And this definitely doesn't look like the greatest archer ever. Okay. So Gordon is good. He's definitely better than he was in the first game. More speed, strength, skill, you name it, he has it. One of the best archers even without considerable stat boosting. Gordon coaches Ryan. At least I think so. I might still be hallucinating storylines for these people. I'm just sad when I look at him. Gordon's prodigious smile is gone. In its place, this wimp. Castor. Castor is a small sad boy with tree trunks for arms. His strength stat is higher than everyone in the army, whether that be a battle-hardened mercenary, an old grizzled general, or a goddamn dragon. Castor has the unique capacity to look at any problem on the battlefield and put a giant hole through it, especially dragons. He's not particularly bulky or even fast for that matter, but that really holds him back from making the biggest differences. Also, being able to promote into a horse archer means far more general utility than any other archer. Julian. About as universal as a unit can get. Julian is still the best thief in the game and is vital to your success in both campaigns. His story is relatively minor. He wants to rescue Lena from Medius. He even confesses to her to snap her out of a trance. It's a cute moment. Lena. Lena is a beast of a healer. Her early recruitment and now much improved leveling grants her easy access to promotion, which she benefits from far more than any other mage. Her damaging spells aren't amazing, but she's a healer. We don't need Gaiden levels of madness for priests. Lena is sadly part of 4 units who get captured in the second campaign, meaning you can only use them briefly at the literal end of the game. Shame, however, it did let some other priests shine. Roderick. I feel bad for Roderick. He has good growths and has decent potential to be a great paladin. You even get him early enough to capitalize on this, but he just got shafted every single mission in favor of other units. He just took way too much time to get good on his own, and by then I had a better paladin who wasn't just good, but amazing. If it is any benefit, he did survive the whole game, unlike his comrade. Ryan. Ryan is the new archer in the field, trained under Gordon. At least I think so. I swear, this was a storyline between them, right? Doesn't matter since he's a really good archer. Not caster levels of physical madness, but excellent in his own right. Marisha. Marisha is the best healer in the game, bar none. Good growths, early recruitment, life-stealing spell, unique access to Thief Staff, and paired access to Hammerin. She is definitely just a Gaiden priest reincarnated. Pala and Katria. The Pegasus duo is the strongest they've ever been. Katria is low in levels, but give her time and she can match your strongest paladins blow for blow. Pala starts at a high level. Give her a silver spear and you're set for the rest of the game. This is made even more ridiculous in the second campaign when you get a level 7 Pala on your third mission. Pala is without question the strongest unit in the game, matched only by one other unit. Both Pegasus sisters have simple goals: find Est. In the second campaign, they're helping their teammates escape from Midon as well as finding Minerva. Yulia. Second best healer in the game, she has a little bit more utility than Marisha since she has unique access to the rescue staff, something that will save your life multiple times. However, she is frail as a stick. Any stray attack on her is life or death. Yulia is one of the children Lawrence was protecting. She is also just better than her brother Yubello any day of the week. Sirius. Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote the wrong name. Camus. I'm not calling him Sirius. Wannabe Shar Aznable had apparently lost his memories and wandered into the plot of Gaiden, and now he's back? Well, it's a good thing he did since he is a beast on the battlefield. Tied with Pala for strongest unit, not a single battle Camus can't fight. Similar to Pala, he is recruited really early, leaving Roderick to rot on the bench. It would be poetic to have him wield Gradivis again, but I didn't do that since Pala just used it better. He can also snap Nina out of her trance. Navarre. He's still excellent. I used him far less since Ogma took complete priority over him. In both campaigns he joins after Ogma, and in the second campaign he joins 3 missions after him. The reason this matters is between 13 units you need to decide on the composition that matters, and sometimes having 2 warriors isn't that helpful, versus say having 2 Iron Riders. No, not Minerva. I mean Pala and Katria. Navarre is still the same character, just less interesting. His edgelord routine no longer stands out since most characters have better introductions and even storylines comparatively. Roshia. After Cain and Abel bid it, Roshia picked up where they left off, easily among the best units if you give him time to reach his full potential. Sadly, he joins exceptionally late in the second campaign. By then, Camus will have easily outleveled him. Roshia, along with his team, were raised in the army by Hardin. He is the only member of this team that is able to see through Hardin's corruption. Lind. Some justice at last. Lind is on par with Merrick, blow for blow. Aura is just such a good spell that it alone gives her so much utility in both campaigns. She also joins relatively early in both campaigns, which gives her a bit of a leg up on Merrick. Merrick. He good. Ideal candidate for using Starlight. Strong mage through and through, useful in both campaigns. He joins really early in the first campaign and around mid-game in the second. He got promoted to Archmage by Vendel and is required to wake Elise from her trance. Compared to Julius or Camus, this one just feels forced. I'd much rather have Marth wake his sister up. Fina. Fina is a dancer, the first one yet. She is also a must-have. Frail as a feather but can turn the whole game on its head. Her ability to make units go again is completely invaluable. However, her synergies are what make her amazing. If she refreshes a mage holding the Again staff, they can cast it, letting every unit go again, including Fina. This trick let me beat the final mission in a single turn. Even gimmicks aside, she is phenomenal. Just keep her away from a fight. That's one thing she can barely even manage. Samson. Samson hasn't changed a bit. Still only middlingly useful and outdone by like 5 other units who show up before him, but I don't care. Unlike Gordon, he didn't lose any chin, he gained more. That smile grows larger with each pointless crit he lands. He joins late in the first campaign and even later in the second one. An absolute troll of a unit and I love him. Zane. Zane is great. I just wish I had bothered to use him. Still just as powerful as he was, potentially even more so. Zane is also a dragon. Kind of. He lost his Dragonstone ages ago, but gained the ability to morph. He is just as playful here, pretending to be Tiki in one of the missions. And that is the closest Marth is ever getting a love confession. Tiki. Holy shit. Tiki is ridiculous. She can spend as much as 5 to 7 turns as any flavor of dragon you give her. The demon and holy stone in particular grant her so much power. Tiki is under a curse where if Medius isn't soon vanquished, she will go crazy, similar to other Mamukets. That's it. And now for 3 dishonorable mentions. Aaron. The least terrible of the 3 present. Aaron is a paladin you get far too late to make work, and unlike Samson, he has no smile to make up for it. This is made even worse in the second campaign. He's available from the get-go, but his stats and growths are awful. He's even told to be weak. The game literally tells you that using him for too long is a bad idea. Easily among my least favorite units ever. He also just looks unpleasant. Sheena. Sheena is such a good mission, great character introduction and design, but my god is she terrible for when you get her. Lawrence was a surprisingly capable general in the first campaign. His counterpart Sheena is just bad. Not enough defense, speed, or strength to justify her position as general. Minerva. I hate Minerva. It's not so much her stats that are always bad or that you can't make her work, it's the psychological damage I take whenever she misses a javelin throw or even a regular attack with an iron lance. Her bad speed, skill, she's just overall awful. This is made even worse in the second campaign where she has gotten a good 5 missions after Pala and Katria. No, I didn't use Minerva much and I don't think I missed much either. Her story is that she was overthrown in a coup in Medon. Rather easily too, see javelin misses. Her brother snuck her out of Medon and nursed her back to health. Much later on in the game, you find her brother wounded, having betrayed Medius and stolen Starlight in hopes of ending the war. He requests you save Maria, which I definitely did. Now, in my defense here, I wasn't going to sacrifice a unit slot for Minerva, much less play what is a 3-mission gauntlet again just for one line of dialogue to be added in Maria's end screen. Damned be the consequence. And finally, our most vital unit yet. Marth. What's there to say about Marth that I haven't already said? He's a great unit. He can manage well on the front line, he has enough health, speed and skill to consistently double. He's a little lacking in defense and strength, however, all of that changes when you acquire the Star Sphere and Life Sphere. Both negate his weaknesses completely. Life Sphere fully heals him every single turn, and Star Sphere gives him a flat 30% growth boost with a 100% weapon degradation immunity. Pair this with boots and you have essentially an auto-healing Marth, running all over the map, double critting with Mercury and getting even stronger with each kill. However, he loses the spheres when they fuse into his shield. This is really sad. Even without them, however, Marth is among the strongest units, just barely behind the likes of Tiki, Pala, and Camus. Story-wise, this is also the best Marth has ever been. Marth helps reform the Binding Shield as was foretold. Goto informs Marth about his lineage, coming from a line of thieves? The first of his kingdom, Anri, robbed the Binding Shield from the Fane of Raman, removing the spheres from the Binding Shield and selling to create an army. With this army, he conquered Akenya and claimed it as his own, his bloodline being passed down the remnants of the Binding Shield, or as it's called, the Fire Emblem. It is far more entertaining to see Marth have some deeper involvement in the plot, and I love seeing how plainly he admits the curse of the Fire Emblem. Makes a lot more sense after hearing how his great-great-great-grandfather just stole the damn thing. And that's the real end of the Akenyan saga. At least until that happens. Look, I expected next to nothing from Mystery of the Emblem. I was fully convinced it would be a plain remaster, but instead it has been my favorite of the 3. Current position notwithstanding, hopefully toppled by the next one. Here's to hoping Genealogy of the Holy War will be as amazing as everyone seems to hype it up to be. I'll be back in 5 months. See you, whoever's still watching. Thanks for watching, there is no outro. Goodbye.